Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments and thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to continue on our discussion of insurance as it applies to antiques and collectibles with a twist. We're going to bring in the topic of storage and talk about how this relates to insuring a collection of antiques and collectibles. Now, if you watched the other two videos that I've done in this particular series, I talked about why, in my opinion, I do not advise any collector out there use a rider on their homeowner's insurance policy to cover the antiques and collectibles that they own. In most cases, from a lot of the things that I've come across in the trade and hearing about horror stories from clients of mine in the antique and collectible consulting business that I run, most of the time, a lot of these companies are ill-equipped to cover and understand the idiosyncrasies of the antiques and collectibles trade. So if there is a claim, usually you are not as protected as you think you are. Now, to be fair, I have not read every single insurance policy out there that is offered from a homeowner's insurance company when it comes down to insuring antiques and collectibles. So it's very possible you got an insurance policy through XYZ homeowner's insurance company. I'm being careful not to state names in this video because I am not corporately sponsored. And you have to file a claim and you are in fact 100% covered. You really like the way that company treated you. So as a result, you continue to give them your business. What I will tell you, it is in your best interest, whether or not you go through a homeowner's insurance company or you take my advice and seek out the services of a specialty insurance company, to read everything that is outlined in your contract and ask questions if you do not understand it. At the end of the day, if there is a dispute between you and the insurance company, especially in the year 2021, most court systems in anywhere in the industrialized world are going to go by the contract and the policy that you signed. They're not going to go by what your friendly neighborhood insurance agent told you while you were busy avoiding reading the contract and just signing your life away. So that is very important to take note of. Now, in this video, what I'm going to talk to you about is how proper storage can help you actually pay less of a premium for any type of insurance policy that you have. Now, this is vital information. I'm also going to give you one strategy that I always advise a lot of my high net worth clients to use to mitigate risk when they are insuring these particular precious valuables and artifacts. Now, if you recall, several months back on this channel, I did a series of videos on the storage of antiques and collectibles. I talked about the pros and cons of storing any type of collection in a bank safe deposit box. I also talked about the pros and cons of offsite storage. We have yet to talk about on this channel something known as vault storage because that applies mainly to high net worth individuals. So I have not done a video on that as of yet. I will eventually do a video on that. I don't expect the video to get a lot of views. I'm just going to state that up front because most people that are watching this channel will most likely never have to use a vault storage company. And if you want an example of what a vault storage company is, if you've ever heard of Crozier Fine Arts, which is owned by Iron Mountain, that is an example of a vault storage company that caters to the high-end art market. Another example is RoboVault, which is down in Florida. That is another example of a company that caters to high net worth individuals that store everything from wine to high-end pieces of artwork to even classic cars. So these are legitimate businesses that cater to this high-end market. Now, I also did a video on this channel that you guys should check out on understanding the best storage practices over the short term or the long term as it relates to temperature and humidity. That was a very good video that I did. I think it was only 10 minutes long. Feel free to check that one out as well because it's going to answer a lot of your questions that you may have when it comes to properly insuring and storing these items. Now, this is something that you may not be aware of. Most insurance companies that operate in the antiques and collectibles trade. So again, we are talking about specialty insurance companies that offer coverage on any type of collectible. If you are able to store those particular items in a bank safe deposit box, they will usually give you a discount on your premiums, provided you guarantee to keep those items in that bank safe deposit box. And if you pull them out, You have to have a justifiable reason for pulling them out, because let me use this as an example. Let's say that you tell XYZ insurance company that you're storing a valuable sports card collection in a bank safe deposit box. And you decide 2 weeks later to go to that bank safe deposit box and you bring that collection back to your primary residence. Well, while it's sitting in your primary residence, thieves break in, they knock you over the head with a club, and they take that wonderful collection. I have no idea why I said that. That is going to be so weird on camera. I'm going to go with that, though. So thieves break in, they knock you over the head with a club, and they take your very valuable collection of vintage sports cards. Now, this can pose a problem because you're going to have to explain to the insurance company why that collection was out of the bank safe deposit box, because they are going to ask if you do initiate a claim on that. So that is something that you're going to have to answer for, and it better be a very good answer. Now, let me use this as another example. Let's suppose that you want to store a collection of valuable comic books, a collection of vintage toys, a collection of rare coins, whatever it is. You want to store it in climate-controlled off-site storage. Now, if you go back and you watch the video that I did on this topic, you'll know there are risks for storing any type of collection at an off-site climate-controlled storage facility, even if they have 24-hour surveillance, even if it's family-owned and operated, and you know everybody that works there, there is still a chance that your items could potentially get stolen or, quote-unquote, disappear without any justifiable cause. So this is something that you have to pay attention to, because most specialty insurance companies that operate in the antiques and collectibles trade, if you tell them, I'm storing a valuable collection in an off-site climate-controlled storage unit, they're going to assess a levy on your premium, meaning you're probably going to pay anywhere from 15 to 25% more for your insurance policy because you are storing it in an off-site climate-controlled storage facility. Now, it's still important to tell the insurance company that that is your plan, because again, if something does go missing or if something gets stolen, meaning your unit gets broken into, thieves clear out your storage unit, if you go to the insurance company and you say, hey, I have $50,000 worth of blanket insurance coverage on my collectibles, and they say, well, where did the theft happen? And you have to show them a police report that says it happened at XYZ self-storage company, they're going to tell you, you never explained to us that you were storing this collection at an off-site storage facility. So therefore, most likely they're going to deny your claim. I'm sorry, guys. That's just the way it is. They're thinking at this particular point that you had it in your primary residence. So you must tell the insurance company where you plan to store your collection overall. Now, there are strategies you can employ to help mitigate risk. Let me give you one right now that I share with my high net worth collectors that I have that come through my consulting business. If you are someone that owns your own business, or maybe you have multiple residences, or maybe you have a warehouse somewhere and you also have a primary residence, if you split up a collection, you can help mitigate risk. What I mean by that is, let's say that you store a $100,000 vintage poster collection in your primary residence. If you split that up and you store $50,000 of it in your primary residence, and you store the other $50,000 of that collection somewhere else, whether it be a business that you own, another home that you may have, another storage facility or a warehouse that you may be privy to or you may own, guess what? That'll help you mitigate risk, because at least that collection is not all in one location. Where if you're known in the trade as somebody who collects rare and vintage posters, or maybe you have a website, maybe you're a dealer in that particular type of collectible, you don't want people knowing where you're storing the entire collection. So if thieves break into your warehouse, they're only going to get at max 50% of the collection. Now, I know that's still a horrible loss to go through, but at least they're not getting 100% of the collection. So this is a strategy you can employ, and you can also be smart about it. If you have a security system, if you have a place in your house where you can properly hide and also store a valuable collection that is not out in the open, that's not obvious for anybody that comes in your house, you can employ this strategy where maybe you only take out $50,000 worth of coverage and you say, you know what? I want the $50,000 worth of coverage to apply to the off-site climate control storage facility that I'm storing the 50% of this collection in that I am worried about overall due to the risks of storing it in that environment. Or maybe you tell the insurance company, hey, I own a warehouse over here on this other side of town. It's kind of in sort of a bad area. I'm going to be storing X number of dollars worth of collectibles in this particular location. Can you at least insure me up until that amount? What is the cost to insure myself up until that amount? Then you split up the collection and you keep half in your primary residence and half in that location. So if that location does get robbed, or in the event your house would burn down, you only lost 50% of your collection. This is a strategy that a lot of high net worth investors in the antiques and collectibles trade employ. I myself have multiple bank safe deposit boxes. This is something that I never admitted on camera until now. There's a reason for that. Because if somebody would follow me one day going to my bank safe deposit box, they're only getting one location, meaning I have multiple locations. So I store my currency in a different bank safe deposit box than that which I store my rare coins. So if they happen to follow me to where I'm storing my rare coins, the only thing that they know is that I have a safe deposit box at that one bank. You also have to be careful because people do talk. For instance, if I go into a certain bank that I belong to, I know that they're probably going to say to somebody else that works there, well, that's Sean with Reserved Investments. He's a big collector. So they see me going into a safe deposit box with a box in my hand. They obviously know that I'm taking a valuable item into that bank. So you really have to help mitigate risk because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Now, we are going to expand on this concept further. I am going to get off the topic of talking about insurance and storage as it relates to antiques and collectibles for a little bit here because I want to go in a different direction. I've already done 3 videos in a row on this, and I just want to make sure that I'm covering other topics. Please let me know what you think about these videos in the comment section below. And as usual, I will see you next video. Thanks, and have a great night.